paintings, right, with the wall. Talked about how we can just copy from one room to the other room and edit the numbers, right? So you saw how quickly I was able to just estimate the master bedroom. Take into account the content manipulation, which we should be taking into consideration when we're doing work in any room. All right? We need to take into consideration if we have to mask the walls. Why would I mask the walls if for anything? Let's say, why would I put plastic on the walls for? On the walls. Oh, wow. Why would I put plastic on the walls? Protect against what? Because it's a wall.
All materials from, well, depending on.
That's right. Only from texture in the ceiling. No popcorn in the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
I want to protect the walls because if I'm blowing popcorn and the wall is not protected, it's going to get on the walls. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay? So we'll consider if we have any texture or popcorn on the wall, we want to add masking for protecting the wall. And if we're doing drywall repairs, we're going to protect all of the floor. Okay? Painting comes with floor protection. Floor protection comes with painting. Right? The painter is going to use to protect the floor, but we want to protect the floor because there's going to be drywall repairs. You know what I'm saying? So we're cutting it out, so we got to protect the floor. So we're going to give it extra floor protection for that drywall repair. Not for the painting, but for the drywall repair. And they may very well use the same protection for painting.
So you said with a total loss, you don't do
Total loss? No, you don't do anything. You're going to do evaluations. You're going to take a bunch of pictures, and you're going to find out the information on the property, which you can get on Silo. And what you would be doing, if you're starting off from your local file,
So we do it in Xactimate because that's where the claim is?
you do it wherever they tell you to do it. Because you can do it in Xactimate, they could have a separate software that you could do it on. You
Oh, I
understand what I'm
didn't know
saying?
that, yeah.
But it's an evaluation now you're doing. So if you did it in Xactimate, what you'll be doing when you create a new project, if you're looking up on the screen, create a new project, right? See this up here? That's an estimate. Create evaluations. If you're a flood adjuster, you'll be doing FEMA flood. If there's a total loss, you'll be doing this evaluation where it's just it's a questionnaire. It's gonna ask you how big the house is, what the house is made of, what kind of doors is inside, how many doors, how many bedrooms, the flooring, what type, just asking questions about the property.
Would you be sketching it?
No, you're doing nothing but
Okay,
taking
all right,
pictures
okay.
and doing asking the questions.
All right.
It's a total loss.
Okay.
And typically, what they consider total loss is 50% of the roof is gone, of the whole house. Yes. If 50% of the whole roof is gone, it's considered total loss because everything's open to the elements. So if 50% of the roof is gone, more than likely, 75% of the interior is gone.
Question regarding that too, when it comes to fires, because fires, it could affect maybe 2 bedrooms, but just because of the smoke damage, that's still considered part of the problem as well, given if the
They
one
want to
wasn't
go
touched.
on the right percentage of loss because you can repair stuff like that.
Oh, even with like smoke damage and all that kind of stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, they're gonna bring in air scrubbers.
Yeah,
They're gonna paint
okay.
everything.
That's the remediation
That's
team
correct.
again.
Got
That's
it.
correct.
Okay.
All right, now if the fire goes into the attic and burns up 50% of the roof, then
Yeah, it's total loss.
you know what I'm saying?
Understood.
Yeah.
How do you get, I'm trying to figure out how do you get to that total loss adjusting?
Valuation.
Yeah.
You go back to
Oh, no. I'm saying like the field, because I was trying to get like, almost, I did an interview for like total loss adjuster, and I was, total loss.
You mean how do you get the position?
No,
Yeah.
how do you get like experience for it?
Like, how do you get into that field?
How do you, yeah.
Yeah, how do you get
That's a niche.
No. So
They depends on the claim, right?
right. So there's really no total loss division.
Just depends on which they
They
have.
only have one, right?
No, that's auto.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're talking about staff. So in an insurance carrier place that has staff and adjusters, they may have a division just for total loss.
Yeah.
But they're not the ones out in the field.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? You got a regular adjuster that's out in the field that has experience of dealing with total losses, or maybe it's his first total loss. All right?
You go with FEMA flood too?
I don't deal with FEMA.
Why? Is there a reason why?
I'm not FEMA certified. I've never went for FEMA. I never have to. I stay busy doing property. I never dipped and dabbed in anything else.
Okay.
You want to get though?
Yeah, definitely good. FEMA pays good money.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right, it's not every year you have a deployment, but FEMA pays good money. Yeah. Okay. You'll protect the carpet, whatever flooring. It won't be masking the floor, it'll be floor protection. Right.
So can you walk us through, so when our Xactimate goes active, can you walk us through the steps to put the macros on Xactimate?
I'll do it when you do make it back.
Okay.
I'll walk you through it.
Mhm.
All right? I'll walk you through it, or I'll create a video that you can refer to.
Okay,
Okay? But you can always call me and I'll walk you through the process.
okay.
Does the field adjuster and the desk adjuster ever have a situation where they don't agree on that? So you know,
Absolutely. If they don't agree, you do what the desk adjuster tells you.
Yep.
Okay?
I rule.
If you got a red carpet and they tell you put blue, put blue. Per desk adjuster.
Underwriting.
Okay?
With the macros, say where, can we update our own macros? Like,
Absolutely.
okay.
Once you have it, it's yours.
Okay.
Now, that's a different class, but if there are certain, if you change the title of it,
Okay.
you disable the entire macro.
All right.
Oh, really?
So you have to create a new macro.
Yeah.
Okay?
So don't do that.
Mhm.
No, what you can do is, I can keep the
You can
macros
do it.
we have,
Right.
and make my own.
You'll duplicate it, change it
Basically
up, and
save
save it as a new macro.
Save that.
Thank you.
Right, save it as a new macro, and change the name. And I highly advise you guys to do it when you work for different carriers. The macro I'm gonna give you, that is the base standard to take care of that insured. Okay? That is the standard. But you may have an insurance carrier that says, you know what? I don't want you to pay it twice. I want you to pay it once. In my opinion, it's wrong. So who's gonna be signing the check? Okay? Change it. Okay? And once you get done with that room, save it as your new macro. Once you get done with that ceiling, save it as your new ceiling, but you're gonna title it Citizens Ceiling Repair. Alright? Or State Farm, that's what you're gonna title the macro. That way you know, okay, this is how State Farm wants me to handle ceiling damage.
do you have a training on macros?
No, I don't.
It's not that deep, is it?
It's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's pretty simple. And maybe I'll add it with how to upload your macros. I'll just touch on it real quick. All right. So I just want to breeze through the mindset of why we performing these repairs in this way. So I'm not only giving it to you, but I'm explaining the process. Right. So when you perform any work inside a room, you want to be able to go in that room, give allowance to move everything out, so that they can perform the repair. You want to protect the walls when you're doing ceiling texture. You want to protect the floors if you are not removing the floor. When it comes to ceiling damage, let me get rid of this quick entry box. When it comes to ceiling damage, you want to always remove the insulation above the ceiling, replace the insulation. Remember, if the ceiling had water damage, you want to replace the insulation, replace the drywall. It's always going to be 5/8 drywall. You want to prime the area that's damaged. If you got 15 square feet of damaged drywall, you want to prime how many square feet of drywall? 15. But we're going to paint the entire thing. Okay? You guys
So you only
understand
prime
that?
the damage?
The repaired area. Okay? Which is equivalent to the damaged area. What's that? Yeah. Whatever the amount of damage is. So,
Do you change that in the, yeah?
what's that?
If you're only doing this little spot right here, but
That's correct.
because you're painting, so you're changing that in there, that you're only priming that little piece.
That's correct. So let's say, remember, whenever you use these formulas is the letters for your calculations, you're doing the entire thing. If you put perimeter PF, you're doing the entire perimeter of the floor, which is the same as linear footage. Okay? When you have C, that's the entire ceiling. If you have W, that's all of the walls in the room. You have WC, it's all of the walls, all of the ceilings. You have F, that's all of the floor. So you have the concept, right? Whenever you have a specific square footage, you just want to put it. Can you close that door behind you? Yeah, just close it. When you have the square footage, you only want to replace the square footage that you have. Never go less than 4 square feet when you're repairing drywall. Never replace less than 4 square feet. Okay? Because you always want your repair to be a minimum of 2 by 2. Why am I saying that? Because they have to replace drywall, they want to replace from stud to stud. Okay? That's why you need 4 square feet.
Never
Yep.
replace.
Less than 4 square feet of wall or ceiling damage. Make 4 square feet your minimum. Okay? Ceiling damage or wall damage.
So even if it's less than 4 feet, we just make.
Make it 4 square feet. That's correct. 4 square feet will be your minimum. Go up from there. So let's say we have a situation where we only have 4 square feet of damage in the ceiling, in a non-textured ceiling, right? Okay? I went over everything. Replace this insulation, the drywall, prime it, and then paint it. So here we're going to do, I'm going to change the C to a 4. I'm going to change the drywall to a what?
4.
You guys can help me out. 4. Ceiling, how much am I changing it to?
4.
And how much am I doing paint the ceiling?
C.
C. There you go, all of them. You guys got that? So if you have to do a quick review of your own estimate, you're going to keep looking for that. So the first 3 ought to always be the same, no matter what. And the last one, which is going to be a whole number. Okay? You guys following that?
Yes.
You keep that concept, okay? So since the ceiling we're dealing with, let's say the ceiling we're dealing here is only textured, okay, we're gonna leave this here and delete all the other stuff relating to the ceiling. We'll delete all of that. Because we're dealing with a non-textured ceiling only, okay? If we're dealing with a textured ceiling, we'll be replacing the insulation, right? Replacing the drywall. Then we're gonna come in with a textured drywall machine. Okay? So let's say I got 4 square feet of damage of insulation. So that means I got 4 square feet of damage of drywall. Alright? So now the texturing, we're going to texture only that wall. The entire wall that's damaged. So let me explain. So I have a first wall room. I got damage on this wall. I'm going to repair this wall, but I'm going to texture this entire wall. And then I'm going to paint the entire room. You understand? So let's say this is the wall, I'm looking at it like this, right? I have a piece of damaged wall right here. I replace this drywall. If I attempt to just texture this wall, it ain't gonna look right when the other ones have old texture. It'll never match. You may get a guy that makes it look real good that it's hard to see it, but I myself, as a contractor, I'll notice it every single time. Maybe you as a homeowner, you may not notice it, but it will never be right. So instead of just texturing that little area, we want to texture the entire wall. Okay? But just that wall. You following me, guys?
Would it be the same as ceiling too?
Yeah, that's right. So therefore, if you had a continuous ceiling and it went all over the house, guess what we're doing? We're texturing
Texturing the whole house.
the whole house, the whole ceiling house. That's how it's supposed to be. Now you may get a kickback and the carrier's like, you know what? We don't want to texture the whole house. What do you do? And per management or per I was advised to just do that one area. Yeah. All right. So we understand because this is going to be important to understand. We want only a texture that one wall, but we're painting all of the walls.
Yeah, it's, because it's continuous. If it was,
Correct.
if it was this room, you would only texture the whole one wall and then paint that one wall, because all the floor walls.
No, you're gonna paint all the walls.
Even if the colors are different. That's what
Well,
I'm
if
saying.
the colors are different,
Oh,
yes.
okay, yeah,
You
yeah, as
stop
long as
it.
it's continuous, yeah.
Right, right, but if the
Okay.
colors are the same, you're gonna paint everything in that room.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to
Right.
clarify that.
So we're texturing the whole wall so that it looks all uniform, and we're stopping in those corners. Line of sight is not gonna matter when we're talking about texturing, because I can safely stop my texture there, stop my texture there, and you won't notice the difference.
Exactly.
When you just did the wall, one wall, when you use a texture drywall machine, you see where you have calculation, you do it on one wall. One of the calculations is still W1.
No, no, it won't. So, say you have that one wall, right? So here's a quick view, okay? I did it up here as floor, so I can't do it here. But let's say I was having that situation in the bedroom, right? And I come to that one wall that I got a texture, right here, the texture machine. How do I go back and look at that room? I double click that master bedroom and look at that. The measurements for the master bedroom populate.
So you
So
double click on that?
Yeah, I double click on the room. The sketch pops up right there. So I'll get the measurement of the wall and I'll multiply it by the ceiling height. I'll find the wall that I'm dealing with. Let's say it's this wall, right? So this wall is 4, 7, 11, 12 feet long. And I know my ceiling height is 8 feet. So 12 times 8 is what?
96.
96. So I'm going to texture 96 square feet. Does that make sense? You can break out a calculator at that point. So the length of the wall is 12. My ceiling is 8. So I know from the floor to the ceiling, the wall is 8 feet tall times 12 feet long. That's 96 square feet. So I will put inside the texture machine 96. So you will put in that square footage. All right? You put in that square footage. So, and that's for the texture drywall machine. Because we only want to texture that one wall. Then, we're going to only seal that one wall. Now, anybody understands how sealing works and priming works? So, when we do a drywall repair, right, when we molded tape it, that repair becomes porous. If we just paint it, we can paint it 20 times, it will remain porous. You guys understand? It will
Yes, sir.
always bleed in. You can paint it 50 times. It will bleed in every single time. So we got to seal it. You got to seal that patch with a sealer or primer. Now it makes it non-porous. Now when we paint it,
Everybody falling
I know.
Amber,
I turned mine off.
you
Is that bad?
Yeah, everybody.
Kidnap child in
kidnap child.
Duval County. That's far from here.
Duval?
Duval, I think it's far.
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville?
Duval.
All right, so that repair is non-porous, and when you seal it becomes, it's porous. When you seal it becomes non-porous. All right, so that's the whole purpose why we would seal just that. So when we texture the whole wall, we got to seal that wall now, because the texture that we apply to the entire wall is porous.
What did they seal it?
Primer. Yeah, primer.
Will it change the color?
Sealing that patch. And then, when you put texture on the whole wall, you're sealing the wall that you apply the texture to. Okay? So, you'll notice, like, remember, we have the patch. If we don't texture the whole wall, we're just sealing the patch, we're done. And then we paint the whole wall. But if we texture the whole wall, the texture that we blow on the wall to make match, that texture is porous. It's the same material used to patch. So now we gotta seal the whole wall because we gotta seal the porous material we just sprayed on the wall.
So you're saying we're sealing it after the texture?
That's correct, we're sealing the texture.
Okay.
Okay? Because that texture is porous material.
Sealing
But
that
if
glitter.
you patch the
Popcorn
damaged
glitter.
area and seal that,
And you're not texturing the wall? Yeah,
not touching the wall, it's not sealed.
Otherwise, the paint will just.
So I was trying to see what the two,
Right.
two examples you gave, what.
Okay, so if I have a textured wall and I repair it and patch it, I'm gonna have to retexture the entire wall,
Right.
because if I texture that only one spot, it will not match with the surrounding texture. So now I'm gonna texture the entire wall all in one fell swoop.
And seal it.
At that point, now I'm gonna be required to seal the entire wall, because I just sprayed a porous material, which is the texture, onto the entire wall. So now I gotta seal the entire wall. But if it's a non-textured wall, I just gotta seal the patch. Because only the patch is porous, because I just repaired it.
Oh, the material that repairs it makes it porous.
That's correct. It's the same material used to do the texture. They just put it in the machine. And the machine, I mean, it may have some extra characters added to it, and the machine blows it onto the wall and makes it a texture. Okay? So we always seal the wall with all texture. Got you? And only that wall. That one wall. End to end. Does that make sense, guys?
Always seal porous materials.
Always seal texture or popcorn. You'd be better off saying that.
Always seal.
Seal texture and popcorn. The entire wall. Okay? You'll notice up here, you'll notice,
Oh, wait, does that account for sealing too?
same thing, same concept, popcorn. Yep, the popcorn, you're not gonna be painting the popcorn, you're gonna be sealing the popcorn. How would you know? Just check the macro. There's no allowance there for paint. Just the primer. Okay? So you notice here on the primer, it says seal with PVA primer. That is a special primer that's made for new drywall. Okay? That is the proper primer to use whenever you do a drywall repair. Some people just put primer, which is fine, but it's more expensive. But this is the primer that you should be using, PVA primer. And that's attached to your macro. Okay, guys? And that will be one coat. And then always paint the wall, when you're done, paint the wall with 2 coats. Because it creates the richness that those walls were prior to damage. Okay?
So anytime you paint, it has to be a two-coat.
Not every time. Whenever you do a repair. Whenever you do a repair to your room, paint it twice. Because you may have a line of sight that had nothing to do with the damage. You're going to paint that once. So, let me increase my places. So, inside the room, you're going to paint the whole room 2 coats. Okay? Let's say you have a big open area. You have a room here that only has a door opening, right? Not a door frame that creates the transition where it stops, but a door opening. And you have to paint this room here, right? We do our repair, as stated, do our texture on the one wall, and we paint all of the walls 2 coats. But the wall continues outside the room, and now we have to paint all these walls, right? Are we going to paint all those walls 2 coats? No, because they're totally separated from the room with the damage. But we're going to paint it at least 1 coat.
Continuous.
Because it's continuous, right? You follow me? Why am I painting 1 coat? Because I didn't do anything to those walls. I didn't touch those walls. I didn't,
And it wasn't damaged.
and it wasn't damaged.
So now it's just making it all
You're
uniform.
just making a consecutive,
Consistent.
Yeah,
even
exactly.
coat of paint,
That's correct.
fresh paint.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
But-
That's got me?
What you're saying, the color changed somewhere else, you don't touch that.
Yes, the color is different, you don't touch it. That means that wall, that's your terminating point. You don't go beyond it. If you bump into a wall that's a different color, you stop it. Okay? So that's dealing with, we talked about ceilings, dealing with walls, that's how we deal with it. If we're dealing with a popcorn ceiling, we replace the insulation, the drywall, and we only sealing, priming the repair, okay? But we're popcorning everything. You got that, guys? We're priming only the repair, but we're popcorning everything. Because popcorn comes with its own paint built into the popcorn. They're gonna cover the entire ceiling, it already has its color. We don't have to paint the popcorn afterwards. Okay? That's how we deal with popcorn ceilings. And then just paint, that's the continuous I was telling you guys about. We good with that, guys? Okay. Now dealing with walls. That was all ceiling. So walls is gonna be the same idea, same concept as we do with the ceiling. I think someone asked me, how about the walls? How about the ceiling? They're the same thing, same concept. All right, guys? Now let's deal with electrical items. Okay, here's your electrical items. Light switches, outlets, exhaust fans, ceiling fans, chandeliers, light fixture, 220 volt, that's your ovens and your stove. When do we have to switch out, when do we have to change out light switches, outlets, and all these items?
Fire.
Fire, and only when they're damaged. Okay? If your entire ceiling is gone, and the light fixture look like it's in good shape, replace the light fixture. Because chances are water got into it somehow. You're gonna get some light product. Okay? If you have drywall damage, let's say this whole area is damaged and there's an outlet in the middle of the damaged area, replace the outlet. You don't want to take that risk. The chances are water did get in there.
You gotta plug something in there.
Somebody shot. You got me, guys? That's the only time you're gonna change these things out if they're in the area of damaged area. If you're in the bathroom and the ceiling is damaged all the way around the fart fan, change out the fart fan. Yeah, the fart fan.
That took me a minute.
That's the exhaust fan. Alright, that's the exhaust fan. Change out the exhaust fan. Okay? Alright? And of course the 220 outlet that you have behind dryers and ovens and stoves. Alright? If it's damaged around it, change it out. That's the only time you'll be changing out those electrical items. Okay? If a person says, oh, my outlet stopped working and there's no damage around the outlet, okay, I'll photo document, keep it moving. Don't change out. Okay? And they'll try to say, oh, there's an area on the other side of the house that stopped working ever since the storm. That ain't none of your concern. If water damage ain't there, that ain't none of your concern.
Well,
But that's what I'm telling you.
That was the reason why I was so
Hesitant.
leery about going.
Are you feeling better today?
I think it's canceled.
What things count?
no, the inspection.
Make a video on what you said.
Inspection was
Yeah, but that inspection wouldn't affect what you're learning right now. Okay.
I'm a visual person. I'm
All right. How you? Well, we went out Monday.
I need to go on the road.
All right. So that's how we handle electrical items, guys.
So,
Let's go.
so in a storm, like you were just saying, lightning strikes in a storm. So it could be something electrical that could went out in the background.
Okay. All right. So when he brought up a good point. Let's say lightning strikes and something happens to, let's say, an appliance, right? They say my appliance stopped working. Okay. What you need from them, he said, well, here's what you're gonna have to do, madam or sir. You get a certified technician and have them write you a report and state that damages are due to whatever the peril is. To peril. And send me the report afterwards. And you just forward it to the resident. Alright?
So that's if any appliances are damaged.
If they tell you it was damage due to the storm, don't worry about if it's electrical or not. They said that appliance was damaged due to the storm, you have them get a technician report. And they send it into the desk adjuster. You just take a picture of that appliance, that's it. If you can get the label, take a picture of the label, and on your photo you're gonna say appliance damage per the insured. Okay?
An expert has to give its opinion in order for it to be justified, basically.
Yeah, in order for them to be right, I'll pay for it. I'm not a certified technician to tell what went wrong.
And a lot of field adjusters was just taking pictures of it and they thinking that it's covered and then they throw it away and then I'm trying to send somebody out there to check it out.
Right.
And they said, well, the field adjuster told me that he took pictures of it,
You can throw it away, right?
You can't.
Henshaw? Huh?
No.
What were you gonna say? Somebody, it might be something somebody else wanted.
No, I forgot.
Okay. So you tell them prior to, you ain't gonna have to take this. Unfortunately, you won't be able to write it up and put it in your claim. But really, that's a haggle you don't even want to deal with. Really.
Yeah.
All right. So you really don't want the haggle. I mean, it'd be nice to add it to your fee bill, but at the end of the day, you really don't want the haggle. You say, well, why would it be a haggle? Because it might take a week or two before that technician comes out.
Yeah.
You want to wait 4 or 5 weeks to get paid? Send it down the road.
Exactly.
All right? We want to be able to turn in our report as much as we can, as soon as we can. We ain't waiting for nobody. We're not waiting for a contractor estimate. We're not waiting for a PA report. We're not waiting for a technician. If we have enough information to write that estimate, we're going to write that estimate and send it on down the road. You understand what I'm saying? We ain't waiting for nobody. People is like, oh, do you want my report? I don't need it. I appreciate it, but I don't need it. And even if he gives it to you, you still have to write your estimate.
Your own estimate.
That's right.
Yeah.
In your own opinion.
Yeah.
Okay? You follow me, guys? So are we waiting for anybody? We ain't waiting for nobody.
Be independent.
That's right. So that's how we deal with electrical, guys. I hope we write this down.
Yeah. No, I know this.
All right. So door damage.
More damage.
Door damage. So, dealing with door damage. So we have a door. Let's say this is your wall. This is your door. This is your frame. Alright? And here's the door on the hinge. Okay? There's the door lock. Alright? So, let's say water came in, puddled here, and it damaged the bottom of this door frame. You see a visible water stain on the leg of the door frame. Not on the door, but you see it on the frame, right? And it comes up. No matter the height, but you see the water damage. You see the water stain. So we're going to replace the entire door. That's right. Because the amount of money it takes for me to take this door hand off, remove the frame, put a new frame, now I got to make this door fit the frame. It's the same cost as replacing the door. Okay?
Now, just to touch on that as well, now say if it affected obviously the base of there, what runs along that baseboard, so if the baseboard got hit, then that would be
You're
tied into it as
going to
well.
see it. But right now we're just talking about the door.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I got it.
No problem. Right now we're just focusing on that door. That's all where we're at. We're going to deal with the door.
Got it.
So once we see water stain, just like we saw on the baseboard, I would trigger replacing it. Yeah, we see it on the frame. Okay? Not on the door, on the frame.
So you're replacing the frame, not the door.
You're replacing the frame and the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that water
Because
eat
the
it
water,
away.
no, water ain't going to get to this.
Right.
The water is damaging the frame.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? And it's damaging not only the frame, but the casing on the frame. So what I'm saying, by the time I pay to replace the frame, they got to take the door off, rip the frame out, rip the casing out, install a new frame, carve out new hinges, install the door back. I replaced the entire door. It's cheaper to replace the door in the frame than to just change the frame. You following me?
Yes.
It's always like a pair pretty much, whenever if it would happen to be a frame, you always typically replace the door with it?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if there was ever an instance where you would.
Unless you got a really low down insurance company,
Okay.
all right, that wants to save $5.
Understood.
Okay?
No matter the amount of damage, just go ahead and replace it.
If the frame has damage, the purpose of insurance is to bring that person back to pre-loss condition. If the frame is damaged, it's damaged. Yes. That's the whole purpose of that insurance. You may have a manager say, you know what, just go through all this thing. That manager just may not know any better. But let's say the manager does give you a hard time, what are we going to do?
Do what he said.
And then we're going to notate it. Okay? he doesn't like us notating it, then replace the whole frame. Replace the whole door and frame.
So I guess that would be the same even if it was front door and the wind, of course, from a hurricane is hitting that door and some water gets on the frame or something.
That's correct. That's correct.
Garage doors as well.
That's correct. Because remember, once you have a leak, if nothing stops it and it keeps coming through the ceiling, it's going to hit the floor and start puddling. And it's going to soak up in the door. Or if it's a plumbing leak. You know what I'm saying? Toilet overflow, sink overflow, pipe overflow. And it
That affects the door.
affects the door frame. Alright? So we're talking about not only cat situations, but any kind of plumbing. You guys following me? Okay. So you have your macro here. You have the interior door unit, but also if you change out the door, guess what's installed on that door? The lock set.
Hinges, yeah.
The lock set.
Yeah.
So are we going to replace the lock?
No.
No. We're going to detach it
Reset.
and reset it to the new door. All right, that's a little bit of consideration, right? It's an insurance company. See, we ain't trying to sell for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We live to fight another day.
That's right. We ain't trying to sell from State Farm.
Yeah.
Okay? We ain't trying to sell your farm. Okay? So the lock will detach and reset. But if the tree came through the roof, destroyed the door, destroyed the lock, then we're replacing the lock.
Yeah.
So we want to be considerate, right? That makes us a good adjuster, guys. Well, we understand that concept. So if I'm not replacing the doorknob, I'm going to delete this doorknob. Okay? Exterior door, same situation. Okay? Now, exterior door is going to be hard to replace if you have water damage. Because there could be water coming in from under the door. The threshold may be old and doesn't have a good sealing on it, it's not sealed properly.
And you got
It'll be a little bit harder.
But you can probably see if it's been there for a while on that.
Good point. How do we know when there's damage that's been there for a while? 3 dead giveaways,
Rust.
right? It's gonna be the,
Particles from inside of the door.
hold on, bacteria growth, better known as the M word.
We don't talk about that.
We ain't, don't say that, girl.
So that's why you go back to
Fungi.
Alright? We do not say the M word as an adjuster.
You're right, my bad.
Alright? We ain't qualified to be using that M word, okay? Alright? Bacterial growth, rust, or corrosion. Oh, corrosion and rot. I know I didn't spell that right. You guys know what it is, see? And rot. Those are signs that time has passed. Okay? If someone has data loss from a week prior to you getting there, and you walk in that room and there's bacterial growth all over the place, nah, baby, that didn't start last week. All right? And if someone has facial damage, you arrive to the site and you see a rock. Nah, it didn't happen last week. That ain't even happened 2 months ago. You understand what I'm saying? Once you see one of these 4 things there, you know it's been there for a while. Are we going to argue with the insured? No. We're going to say, okay, I'm going to make sure I document that for you.
Yeah.
Okay? Take a picture of it. And in your notes, in your pictures, sign of rot displaying that this has been there before. All right? Or if you want to use a good word, say damage not related to the sparrow appears to be pre-existing due to the amount of bacterial growth, rust, corrosion, or rot. That's the just going to say, yeah, you're right, that's a good point. Damage, right. Damage is not related to this claim. It appears to be pre-existing because the amount of bacterial growth, rust, corrosion, or rot. All right, that desk adjuster will love you. Be like, man, you're right. Okay? Okay, so door opening is not the same as door and frame. Okay? Door opening is that opening without a door. Okay? framed opening without a door, so you can know that you could delete this if you decide to replace the interior door unit. Okay, guys? Because, here, let me show you right here. You go ahead and click on that, open up my line entry pad. We increase the window. Okay, interior door unit. Oh, I was doing doorknob. Like, wait a minute, why is it just showing me a doorknob? Okay? So pre-hung interior door hinges, jambs, stops, casing, both sides, finish nails, wood shims, and installation labor. Labor cost to remove a pre-hung interior door unit and to discard in a job site waste receptacle. So that is the door and the frame. Okay? Excludes lock set and painting. Okay? It tells you it excludes that, so you know you gotta do something about the lock set
And the paint.
and painting. So let's go to door opening. See in the picture? Alright? Door opens the opening without a door. If that gets damaged, if you see the lower side of the frame get damaged, we replace the door opening. Okay?
That's still a frame. Is that still?
That's the frame,
Yeah.
without the door.
Yeah.
Without the door. That's when you have the frame without the door. Okay, so you replace that whole thing. So I'm explaining to you, that's what that line item there is. Door opening, jamming, casing. Okay? And then you got painting the door. Painting the door opening 2 coats per side. Alright? Or painting, if you ever had a situation where you're just painting the door slab, you do 2 coats per side. Well, you would. That is the door. So whenever you're painting the door, you have to use both of these line items. One for the frame, one for the door slab. You got me, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? All right, next one. Next item, let's look at flooring. Let me get rid of this quick pad entry. Deal with the flooring. So the carpet flooring is the first one. We're replacing all of the carpet as far as the line of sight continues. Okay? If it's different, they'll tell you different. Laminate flooring, we're replacing all the laminate flooring that is connected throughout the entire house. As long as it's connected. As long as it's continuous. You guys got me?
Yes.
Okay. Hardwood flooring. So we have a hardwood floor near the window. The window got busted out, and this area is damaged. Okay? Hardwood flooring is running parallel with the longest part of the room. So for hardwood flooring, we will be replacing this area. As much as I don't agree with it, that is how we're required to do it. We will replace the damaged area. Of course, we're going to give it a little extra. Okay? When we're done replacing it, we're going to sand and refinish everything. Because with hardwood flooring, you can sand off the finish, okay? You can sand off the glass finish, sand off the stain, and start from scratch, like it was brand new floor. You understand what I'm saying? But the sanding item we're going to use is the dustless sanding. Okay? Dustless because, remember, you're doing this while people are living there, or you got other things in the house, you don't want dust to fly all over the place. Now you clean up the whole house. Okay, not just that one room. So hardwood flooring is the only time we would only repair the damaged area. Then once we repaired it, we want to sand, dustless sand, stain, and refinish everything. Now, if that wood floor goes out throughout the entire house, we're doing the entire house. If there's no transition coming out that room, there's no threshold at the door. You guys following me?
Yeah.
We're going to have to do the entire house.
With dustless sand.
Dustless sand, stain, and refinish. So What do we have to remember it? Well, it's all laid out for you. Okay? That way when you're doing it, it's right there in the front of your mind, not the back of your mind. Okay? And don't be afraid about getting things done wrong, because you'll always have the fire reviewer that's going to help you out. All right, guys? The fire reviewer may send it back and say, hey, man, you got to do it this way. Don't be worried. It's all part of the job. Okay? Guys, this adjusting ain't easy. All right? It's a responsibility there, but you're going to get through it. All right? Everybody started where we're at. All of us might feel that butterfly in our stomach, but the only way we're going to get that butterfly out is by doing it. All right? If we can't stomach the idea of making a mistake, this ain't for us. We can't stomach the idea of having to do something that's we're not comfortable with, it ain't for us. There ain't no pretty way to put it.
That's what it said. Let's say it wasn't dustless. Now, would that open up? Because if it's that small section, and if it wasn't dustless sanding, then that would be a door opening for ALE, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. Well, they might have ALE no matter what,
Yeah,
because we're doing the whole house.
right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because we're doing the whole house. ALE would be kicking in. And you know what else is going to kick in? Make it kick? They may have to get a storage container
Yeah, and food.
to put their stuff outside in a storage container.
Instead of just replacing the floor.
Hmm?
Wouldn't it be simpler just to replace the
No.
floor?
You'd have to do the same thing if you replace the floor.
Oh, okay.
So they'd rather just sand and refinish it.
Tearing it all up, it'll cost the same thing.
Yeah. It's cheaper for them to sand and refinish than to tear it all up.
So,
They're going to tear it all up and then sand and refinish it anyway. Again.
so how can you tell, a way to tell the difference between the actual, because the laminate is so close right now to what wood looks like?
Oh, no, it's not even
It's
close.
not even
close.
Real wood and laminate, now you
No, not even close. So I'll give you a sample of a giveaway. I'll draw an example and then show you pictures of two. Show you the picture of two. So with a laminate flooring, right?
It's like all the
Planks.
Huh? Come on. What's up? Laminate flooring, right? See, you'll see the joints. You will barely see the joints in the floor of laminate flooring. Barely see the joints. Okay? Let's imagine that these lines I'm drawing, you could barely see them. We're imagining that. We could barely see them. In laminate flooring, you could barely, when I say barely, like, you gotta shine the light to be able to find the joint. But with flooring, that's gonna be,
Highlighted.
it's gonna be, you can't miss it. Because the joints are gonna be beveled. Each plate is gonna be beveled that you're gonna see a joint everywhere you go. Okay, it's more amplified on a wood floor, on a hardwood flooring. Does that make sense? Hardwood flooring is more amplified, unless it's parquet, then that's a different story, or unless it's those real thin pieces of wood.
What does parquet mean, if you don't mind?
Parquet is square wood pieces.
Oh, okay.
Big parking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's old school.
Yeah,
Alright.
okay, yeah, I understand what the term.
Yeah, that's old school.
Okay.
Okay? So when you have it as a plate, the joints are going to be amplified when it's as a plate. Okay? Now, what can be a challenge is identifying engineered flooring between wood flooring. Okay? And the way you can identify engineered flooring is that the texture is going to be raised. I'm going to show you. No, you can't tell how you are. Can you tell this?
Laminate flooring too is pretty cheap, because even if it gets a little bit of water, it starts buckling some edges.
Oh, I don't recommend laminate flooring to anybody.
It buckles some edges, you can see it clear. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, you can buy that on sale at Sam's Club.
Well, you know, back in the day, that was the business.
That was the jam, yeah, and then you put that thin mesh pad below that.
nothing on the floor.
Nah.
Well, you can, but you gotta pick it up in 5 minutes.
Yeah, any kind of water, any kind of liquid gets up.
Oh, wait a minute.
Cracks quick.
I know.
Yeah.
Alright?
That looks laminate.
So this is laminate flooring, guys. Okay?
As soon as it gets watered, one side buckles, you can see it clear as day.
But how's it working?
It's actually not that. I already get up.
Go.
Remember what I told you about the corners?
Yeah.
Now this right here is engineered flooring,
That's what I thought, that's like.
okay? But you see how the joints are pronounced
Yeah.
as opposed to this?
Wishy-washy.
See, the joints are not as pronounced, right? But this is pronounced. However, it's hard to describe between engineered and wood flooring. But there's going to be a small identifier which I'm going to show you. See how you can see the joints?
Yeah,
You
but
still can
it's
see the
along
joints.
the long
You
side.
can see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's hardwood flooring. This is, hold on. There's a duplicate of the other one. What's my engineer flooring? Engineer flooring, real wood flooring. How do we know the difference? Look at this. You see that texture?
Yeah.
It's raised. If you run your hand against it, you'll feel the raised.
Bricks.
That's right. That's engineered. Right? You see what I'm saying? Alright? In the hardwood flooring, these right here are going to be textured. It's going to be more indented into the wood. It's going to be pronounced going down, not going up. Does that make sense?
Engraved.
It's going to be engraved, right. And you'll see it and feel it a little bit, but it won't be sticking upward. That's engineered. You'll feel those wobbles and stuff.
Well, I can see the engineer.
That's right.
Because that bevel looks rounded, doesn't it, like the side of it?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Like you said,
That's correct.
I don't see the wood. I mean,
Charge wise?
that to me looks like, that looks cheap to me.
Here,
That doesn't look
that
like.
looks better than
that's all grain.
That looks better than Atlanta.
Okay, but you still see the pronounced joints.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see every single joint.
Yeah, because each plank too is kind of a different color.
And the more expensive the wood is, the more pronounced those joints are going to be because it's thicker.
So,
That's real wood.
That's real wood.
so I thought with real wood that it's all very contrast. It's not all the same
It
color.
can be. It can be. Okay? Because when you sand real wood floor like oak floor and then you stain it, there's no contrast. Everything's gonna be consistent. If you use soft wood and it's real wood, then you're gonna get that contrast. Like pine or bamboo. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking about
Has
the
those
different
dark
gradations
spots.
of-
Right, materials of wood flooring. That's
It
correct.
has dark spots in it.
Right, just like right here, you have that variation he's talking about. So that's not a high quality wood flooring.
Right.
You know
That's
what
what I
I'm
was
saying?
thinking.
Yeah.
I would call that laminate to me, but I would have to touch it.
Right, no, that's hardwood flooring.
These materials that, okay. It's just gonna take time for us to be able to identify
And what is that?
what's.
I think it's bamboo.
Oh,
Alright, I think it's bamboo flooring.
it's more than likely the insured is gonna try to tell you what it is anyway, if it's
No.
expensive.
Now, when we have a situation where we're talking about the quality of the wood, we're gonna be using an ITEL report.
The what?
ITEL report. Okay? Never ever do we do destructive testing. ITEL has a way now where you take photos and you have to cut a piece of the wood or have a piece of the wood to be able to run the ITEL report.
Are you,
We never do it.
I,
ITEL, ITEL. I have a picture of the kid on the website. It was sitting on here on the table the first day you came in. We never ever cut anything while we're on site. If we ever have to take a sample, it has to be in a pile outside waiting to be pulled away by the garbage can. You understand what I'm saying? Did I get the difference? Never do destructive testing. You're going to find that individual may advise you to cut the carpet. Never cut carpet. If it's in the house in place, never cut it. If it's rolled backwards, never cut it.
so say that again, never destroy.
Never do destructive testing. Unless that material is out on the curb waiting for the garbage man to come and pick it up. Okay? If it's in the house and in place, never do destructive testing. At all. Ever. On the roof, never ever.
What if they say, like carpet wise, And I gotta get this, I just waiting for y'all to get here, I gotta get this carpet out of it because it's smelling. Can you take it there, then, because they're ready to pull it up?
They can cut it for you.
Okay.
I need a sample of the carpet. If you're gonna pull it up and throw it out, I need a sample. Well, I'll come back once you have it out of here.
All right.
And then we note that
Yeah, I'm not coming
I'm
back
not
either,
coming
but
back.
I'm telling you what the options are.
insurance applied sample.
Okay?
And so.
But you're not advising him to cut it.
No, but that's what I'm saying, we would note that the
That's
insurance
right.
applied.
Right, but you do not do any destructive testing. Ever, ever. Okay?
Okay, tell us about the ITEL report.
ITEL report, you will purchase it, and it'll walk you through the steps. It is a combination of the toolkit with different mechanics to it, and your phone. And you can submit the report right then and there.
How much is the ITEL report?
200 and change. It tests flooring, siding, and roofing, and cabinets.
It's a good tool to have.
Oh, it's a must in some deployments. If I'm in a hurricane in Mississippi, they require ITEL reports for the siding and for the shingle.
I said it can't, if the,
Flooring, siding, shingle, and cabinets. Okay? And the only time you worry about it for flooring is if it's a quality issue or if it's more than 120 square feet. That's client specific. They're gonna tell you when we require it. However, we're not doing any what? Destructive testing. Okay.
Siding, shingles, cabinets, and floor.
Yes. But we're never ever doing destructive testing. Okay, we're never cutting anything and taking it from site. Only if it's outside sitting on the curb. So when they ask you, why didn't you do an ITEL report? I'm not allowed to do destructive testing. Okay? And there are some carriers that you're gonna work for, and before you even close that claim and send it up, Xactimate may send your pop-up because of the profile they're setting, and ask, did you take an ITEL? If not, why? You put none was available, or you check other, did not perform any destructive testing. Okay? Close that. We never perform destructive
If
testing.
you don't have an ITEL kit, that's what you're gonna say.
Huh?
So if you don't have a kit, that's what you're gonna say.
Well, some deployments, that's one cut.
Are required.
You ain't got an ITEL kit, we can't give you more claims, because we need you to provide one for that roof or for that siding.
Well, at least I know what it is.
Right.
Have
You
saw
can
ITEL?
get away with it with carpet or flooring. For roof and siding, you're not doing destructive testing. Unless it's a tile roof, then you can't use the ITEL for that.
so it's 250 every time you do it?
No, it's a kit, you purchase a kit, it's yours.
Oh, I thought it was a report.
It produces the report, but the kit you have to use to get that report.
That's similar to RL.
I'm not sure what that is.
Like your lines, carpet, wood,
Huh?
roofing, and siding.
ITEL mobile kit, just to see what it looks like.
Right, I had it up here,
I didn't see it.
I could bring it up. It was up there, it's in the little bag.
I sell mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it.
They gave me a phone.
Well, there's a kit that you have to
I
have.
don't even know. Oh, okay, that's a pretty cool little thing.
Yeah, it's a kit you gotta
How
have.
much is it?
Let's see, don't go on there. Oh, so you gotta select the type. Which, mobile kit, for tablets or smartphones, if there's smartphones, it's $160 for smartphones, and for tablets, $167.
Toolkit for siding, so there's different kinds of kits?
You're gonna get the entire kit.
Yeah, just.
You
You
can
can
test
get,
all
you
of
can
that.
get one for just the siding.
Right, I see one for flooring, one
Right.
for siding, one
You
for
get the kit that has all
Oh,
of it.
this one's just for flooring, I see.
Toolkit bundle.
Okay? You get the one for all of them.
Yeah.
Right? When you buy them individually, that's good for those old school guys that already have like 2 of the 4 kit pieces and they want to purchase the additional stuff that came up with. Okay? And I say old school guys, but most of you just have no idea what ITEL is.
So does it tell you how to do it?
Yeah, it walks you through it on the phone.
209.
It's a combination of the kit and the phone. So when you go and process it on the phone, it tells you, okay, this is what you do for the next step. Open up the kit, position it this way, put your phone this way, take the picture. All right, it's gonna walk you through every step. Whatever it is you're testing, the phone is gonna walk you through the steps. It'll
And
say
then
how-
you send it to them, and then they send the report.
That's correct. You email your samples and the procedure that they tell you to follow, what your phone captures, and you email it directly to ITEL, and they email you a full report. Okay? Grapes, pinks, and sliced bread. Because before, we'd have to get that piece of material, put it in a big old envelope, sign a form, go to the post office, mail it out, and wait for them to mail one back to us.
So what that ITEL report is gonna produce is gonna tell you if
It's
that
gonna tell you the-
item is available and where to find
It's
it.
gonna tell you if the item is available and what the quality is, okay? So when we're estimating, there's 3 levels. You got excellent, good, and I forget the
Fair.
lowest one,
Is it fair?
economy.
Oh, economy.
I think Xactimate may have changed the wording, because no insured want to see that you gave them an economized product, okay? I think it changed it, maybe standard, I'm not sure. All right, they changed the wording, because it used to say economy. We're like, never use economy.
Yeah, that seems like it's like below grade.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. What?
That's, premium,
Yeah.
Medium? Excellent?
I forget the word, let's see if I'm looking at it.
So the one I see
Moderate.
though, it says flooring, siding, and roofing on all the bundles, it's not cabinets, it's cabinets.
Cabinets is through the phone.
What the?
Oh.
The kid that works with it, the app they're gonna do, you're gonna be able to do cabinets with the phone.
Oh, okay.
The ITEL phone app.
Got it, so the bundle ones are free, got it, okay. That's good to have, obviously.
Oh, your deployment might depend on it. So when I went out to Mississippi a year and a half ago, I didn't have the ITEL kit. Because all the deployments I did, they didn't require me to run an ITEL report. So when I was out there, what I did, what did I do? I had my friend, Robert, send me his kit. And I ordered a new kit and overnighted it.
Yeah.
So I had him, I didn't know I could overnight it, so I called him, say, man, can I borrow your kit? He overnighted his kit to me, and when I went online, I was gonna just send it to him, but I realized they can overnight too, so I just had him overnight my new one to me, and I gave him his whenever I saw him. He wasn't on the same deployment as I was. Standard, high grade, and premium, okay? Whenever you go to high grade and premium, you need an ITEL report. You gotta explain to them why you're giving them high grade and premium. An ITEL report is gonna tell you if it's a high grade or premium product, okay?
Can't go by looks. Oh, it looks high grade.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that.
If it has a tag on the cabinet, take a picture of the tag. All right, red bottom cabinets, I think is what Caesar called it. Red bottom cabinets.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's funny.
All right, take pictures of the tag.
So the report is just gonna tell you what type of material it is, or whatever, you know, what type of wood floor it is.
That's right.
And then you plug it into your Xactimate, and then it'll pop out the number of what it costs.
That's
and so
right.
forth.
They will give you the cost as well,
Oh, they
but
will.
there are ITEL specific items. All right, as well, that's gonna have those costs that are close to the same that ITEL is gonna kick out. There are ITEL specific line items
So
in Xactimate.
will it tell you if it's close in the zip code that they can readily get it or not?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, remember, your Xactimate is
Zip code.
updated to represent that zip
Yeah,
code.
yeah. Well, I'm talking about ITIL. Well, ITIL.
Well, that's where ITEL gets their numbers from.
Oh, okay.
When they kick out a number, they're going along.
So they're gonna tell you what you should be putting in.
That's correct.
Oh, okay. I thought they just tell you what it is and then you put it in.
Nope.
Okay.
It gives you the cost and everything. It may even give you the code. That's a lot of it. Okay? What's the question? No?
That's a beautiful thing.
All right, so that's how you deal with hardwood flooring. Vinyl flooring, you're talking about sheet goods, we replace the entire sheet. All right? Baseboards, we repair the baseboard. If I got 14 linear feet damage, I'm only replacing 14 linear feet damage, but I'm painting all of the connected baseboard. Replace the damaged baseboard, but I'm painting all of the baseboard. All right, that's how we want to do our baseboards. Of course, if it's stained, we stain to finish it. If it's painted, we paint it 2 coats. All right? Is this, I mean, we think this is helpful, guys? I
Oh,
think we
very
can
much
go.
so, yeah.
Okay?
Very much.
So, next thing is the kitchen cabinets. Kitchen cabinets is a moneymaker, no matter how small, how big. So, if we have damage to our bottom cabinets because of plumbing, of course, if we have damage to the top, it's going to be because our ceiling came down and damaged the cabinetry, or the ceiling opened up, the roof opened up, and water damaged the upper cabinets. So if we have damage to the cabinets, most of the time it's only going to be the lower cabinets, right? How do we spot the damage on the cabinets?
Water damage.
That's correct. So we have our box, right? And then we have the legs at the bottom. We call them toe kicks. If the toe kick has water stain and it's popping up, we have to replace the whole cabinet. Some people are of the persuasion that you can just replace the toe kick, and that resolves the problem. Not so, because if I have a cabinet, right,
Must
That-
be real good in art class.
that toe, I love art, okay? So that toe kick is only covering the front of that cabinet, right? So if that toe kick is damaged,
Behind it should be too.
not behind it, the sides.
Oh,
But the sides is touching the floor just like the toe kick's touching the floor,
Yeah.
right?
But no, I was
Okay.
thinking on the outside of the camera, you'd be able to see it, that it's touching.
Right.
You see it.
Yeah, the side
toe
panels.
kick.
Right. But if the toe kick is damaged, the cabinet is damaged. Because if water damaged the toe kick that's touching the floor, then water damaged the side panels as well that's touching the floor. Alright? And then you got the back side of the cabinet that's touching the floor that you don't have access to. Y'all understand the rationale?
yeah.
If this is damaged, don't just replace the toe kick, replace the whole cabinet. Okay, guys? So that's the lower cabinets. Do not replace the upper cabinets. They're gonna say, well, it doesn't match. Well, okay, you can talk to the insurance desk adjuster about that. Okay? If the insurance company wants you to match it, then go ahead and replace it. But if they don't say anything,
I think Florida's the matching state.
no.
It's not.
They could fight it, maybe they'll get it, but I've never put it in first. If they get it, it's on the back end. More than likely, they will get it. But me as an adjuster, that's not gonna fly with my file review. Okay?
You only write it in on that.
That's correct, because I can see the damage. If it ain't damaged, I can't write it.
5-6 years ago, I had water damage in my house.
Alright?
The refrigerator, whatever, flooded, and they replaced both.
Okay.
Well, they replaced
Yeah.
it. They gave me money for both.
You ain't gonna get it out front, you gotta ask them for it, or fight for it.
No. I didn't fight
Okay,
with it,
but-
but they gave me all both.
But if you as an insurance adjuster, go and write to replace the top and bottom, the top ain't gonna fly. Your estimate ain't going nowhere.
Well, I'm saying, that's what adjuster wrote, and that's what they gave me. They gave me upper and lower.
That's an exception, not the rule.
So now I gotta get my kick toe, whatever.
Toe kick.
Toe kick. I gotta get some brand new ones so they can replace my cabinet.
All right, guys, so we're replacing, right. So replacing the bottom cabinets, right? The countertops. If we have the bottom cabinets damaged, we are not replacing the countertop. We're only doing a detach and reset.
Because it's glued, right?
Huh?
Is it glued, the countertop?
It could be glued, it could be screwed. All right? Because if the box is damaged, that don't mean the countertop's damaged. That's a totally separate entity to the cabinet.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we take the countertop off, replace the box, and then they put the countertop back on.
Guess what? It broke.
Then we do it, then they get paid after the fact.
Supplement.
Supplement. But we don't give it to them before the fact.
Right.
And in the same with granite countertops, right? Let's say the countertop looks like this, and there's a big old sink cut out in it. 8 times out of 10, when they take that countertop, it's gonna snap right here. Because the granite is caught to the cabinet. But insurance companies don't wanna give it to them off the bat. Alright? They wanna wait until they take it off and snap it. Then they'll give it to them.
That's what I was,
See the
I'm
sound.
like, how do you get the magic off?
You can most of the time. You can most of the time, but you're gonna have this situation where it's branded, it's gonna snap. Okay? I mean, there's no way around it. But they ain't gonna wanna give it to you in the front. You gotta come back for a supplement, right? So that's the same way with us. We're just detaching and resetting those,
So
okay?
does that work with backsplash when you're painting? Do you remove
Same
that
thing.
backsplash?
No, you don't paint, you don't
Paint
remove the
around?
backsplash thing. You paint around it. Okay? So do we have to figure that all out in the field with our macro? No, because that's what you got. You see the R's? That's detach and reset. So you ain't gotta try to figure that out. You're just gonna put in how long or how wide that countertop is. You understand what I'm saying? See what the macro does for you? Okay? It's already populated in for you. Okay? I didn't even start talking about these, but it's already set to detach and reset. Okay? These items here are activity lines. If you select them, you can, and once you select these activities, they do change the cost. So you see this ampersand? If I click on the ampersand, I got a plus for replace, a minus for remove, a R for detach and reset, an ampersand for remove and replace, M for material only, I for install only. I already have them all pre-placed for you guys in all the line items. Okay? So once you change one of those actions, the price changes. Okay? I got them all in place for you. So you ain't got to try to figure it out. You're welcome.
No, because it's
So,
valuable.
so when you're changing out the countertops, we're detaching and resetting the sink. We're replacing the P-trap. Okay? Backsplash. Okay, we're replacing that. Solid surface backsplash. Detach and reset. Appliances. We're detach and resetting the stove. Detach and resetting the dishwasher. Detach and reset the refrigerator. Detach and resetting the microwave. Detach, resetting the range in the hood. I mean, detach and resetting what? The garbage disposal. You see all these line items? You know how much we can miss if we don't know that we gotta add these all additional what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items? That's $1,000 right there. If we don't know, we're leaving them on the table. But we're going to know because we got the what? We got the macros. You ain't gotta figure it out. Now if you go in there and there's no microwave, then we delete that line item, right? Okay? So we want to be conscious of that. Bathroom. Macro. I just want to explain it because you're getting the whole shebang this week. Bathroom. The vanities. We're replacing the entire vanity. Okay? The box, that is. Then the countertop on the vanity. Backsplash. And then P-trap, we're replacing the P-trap. The toilet, if we're painting, we're detaching and resetting the toilet. Okay? P-trap is the trap underneath the sink.
The pipe.
The white pipe, the plastic pipe.
P-trap is this.
Okay.
Okay?
I put fittings together to cause P-trap.
If there's a towel bar, we're detaching and resetting the towel bar, detaching and resetting the toilet paper holder. And if there's a mirror hanging, we detach and reset the mirror. If we're gonna paint. All right. So
Paint behind the mirror.
huh?
You would paint behind the mirror, like all those big
Now, if it's caught, no, we're not doing that.
Okay.
But you know, a lot of mirrors are just attached.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And some of them just are being held by clips. You take that off, so you paint. But if it's caught, we're not going to pop the mirror out. Okay?
Okay.
We're not touching it. Okay? That's your bathroom. And then the last thing, always do final cleanup. Okay? Always do final cleanup. Now, once we're done with our estimate and we've completed it, we always want to be our own file examiner. There's 3 things that you always want to go back and double check. When a fire reviewer looks at your thing, they look at these three things, and if one of these three things are off, it's gonna make them look closer to everything, right? First thing is coverages. And the way we change our coverages, we go under the coverages column, guys. You see this column here? We click on it and then we change it. If it's a garage, personal property, tree debris, ALE, ordinance or law. Okay? We check out the coverages to make sure that our coverages are right. All right? Next thing they look at is our calculations. That affects our total. If they look white, if someone is getting $10,000 for a refrigerator, right? Something is, wait a minute, that don't look right. Something's wrong there, right? Okay? And the last thing they look at is this, depreciation. They want to know that you applied depreciation. Well, guess what, folks? Guess what's built into these macros?
Depreciation.
It's already built in.
That coverages
You
the
just have to put a
depreciation
number
and
in.
what?
You have to put a year in. You don't have to put a year in.
Right. So,
I don't know whether it's from beautiful or whether it's recoverable or not.
all right. The only thing you have to do with depreciation is if it's an item that's unrecoverable. Okay? So depreciation is already built in. You'd be like, well, how can you pre-calculate depreciation? Don't have to change the year. I never depreciate the interior more than 5 years. Why do I never do that? And I have never gotten a kickback, never got questions for it at all. Now, why do I do that? Before going full-blown general contractor, I used to manage buildings all over the state of Florida. And every 5 years, we'll go around and do tenant improvements. We'll go around and paint, do repairs, whatever we needed to do, every 5 years. So I always use that method when dealing with depreciation. Not everybody go around the house and paint every 5 years, but you gotta give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? Otherwise, you're gonna be like, when the last time you painted this wall? When the last time you painted this baseboard? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so everything is 5 years.
Those are the three things.
Yes, really.
You wanna go back and review yourself, that
Edit it out.
to look at those and make sure you got it right.
Right,
What do
coverage,
you call?
coverage.
No, I got the, like, what is it called?
It's not a particular name, it's
We
just,
just go back.
go back and review them.
That's what the fire reviewer is looking for, you send your estimate in, but that's their list.
That's the first thing they're gonna look at, the first 3 things they look at. I mean, it may not be the first 3 things, but those are 3 big things that they look at. If they see that something's wrong, they'll go back and like, okay, you need to change this, you need to change that, okay? The depreciation years you put on it may not be accurate, but they don't care, they just want to know that you did it. You understand what I'm saying? Alright, they're looking for if you did it or not. Of course, they would like if you could be accurate, but this is, what's the word for it? It's really unrealistic to have a depreciation on every single item or assembly in that house. Unrealistic. Okay? But you go with 5 years, that's safe. Okay? It's gonna take off, and it's a reasonable amount that is taken off. $183 out of $366. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You ain't killing the insured, but you're doing the proper depreciation.
So what, you said roof was no more than 20.
I don't do more than 20. If it's if it's been there for 30 years, I'm doing 20. Okay? I'm not gonna kill the insured with 30 years of depreciation. How about the homes that are 50 years old and they're original? They're not gonna have anything. Okay? Yeah, try not to kill the insurance. And I don't think the insurance company wants to kill them either.
Right.
Alright? They're counting on them coming back.
Yeah.
Any questions before I cut y'all loose? I'm working on some estimating. Alright, well, here's some additional stuff I'm gonna give you. Let's look at it. So let's say, let me bring my quick entry thing back in here. So the thing I've been making disappear is this quick entry pad. When I select a line item, the information for that line item shows up in the quick entry pad. You guys seeing this?
Yes.
Okay? Everything about that line item is here. You guys have already noticed that on the right side, it gives you that picture of what that item is, right? You guys see it?
Yes.
And here, you got the category number, PNT for paint. Then you got a selector code, S minus, for primer. This is for that particular item. You guys looking up here?
Yes.
Help me out here. Look up here, guys. Follow with me. Okay? You got the category code. You got the selection code. So when you're doing this for so long, you learn those category codes by heart. Or you learn that selector code. So this is the fifth way that you can search for items. It's through the quick entry. Say I'm looking for drywall. Let's say I'm looking for drywall texture, right? Me is DRY and then TX. You see how that's changed? To texture drywall, light and finish. If I add a plus to it, look, what did it add to the line item? Right. I eliminate the plus,
Heavy.
light hand texture. I add the plus, heavy hand texture. Because I typed in the code, right? Okay. So let's say I want to change out the drywall to the ceiling. I do DRY. Look at that. I just quickly pulled up half-inch drywall. Ready for paint. Okay? Add a plus. What did it change it to? Heavy texture. Ready for paint. All right, so you can find line items if you know their category code and their selection code. I gave you a whole list of category codes and selector codes and what they mean and how to find them. Okay, you have that list in that list of school resources folders. Okay, I showed you guys on the first day we was in those. So you have a whole list of those school resource selector codes and cat codes. You have a whole list so that when you have that item that's not in the macro, you gotta go and look for it. That'll help you find it. Now, if you ever have to go search for an item that's not in the macro, an unusual item, an air conditioning condenser unit, just keep in mind you gotta depreciate it when you bring it in, because it's not gonna come in depreciated. Whenever you have to go out and find a line item that's different from the macro, just remember, depreciate it. Because it's not gonna come in depreciated. Okay? You good, guys?
Let's go.
So this quick entry, you can affect everything about that line item. You can change the action from remove and replace. You can make it just remove, just replace. You're rarely going to use material and install on it, very rare. You can also put in your calculation formula, WC, or you can use just W. You guys got me up here? Y'all follow me? You can change the formula here, or you can change it here, whichever one makes you feel good. You guys following me? The same things that you can do here, you can do here in the quick entry code, and vice versa. You can change the coverage. You guys see that? You can change the coverage here. You can change the coverage down here. You can change the depreciation by amount, percent, or age condition, and you can change it down here as well. You see that? Same thing. Okay? Condition always going to be average. And here you mark it recoverable or unrecoverable right in the quick entry pad.
What's the coverage?
Coverage, COV. See it right here? Right there.
Okay.
All right, you can change the coverages right there in the quick entry pad for that one line item. Okay? Or you can change it down here in the list, the running list. This column is the coverage list. You can change it here. Same thing. Let's say you want to depreciate, you want to do something all at one time to a whole bunch of line items. Yes. Okay? So you take the first line item, you can do Control A, highlights all of them, or you can do the shifting. Once you have all of them highlighted, you hit global changes. So you can change all of the coverages at one time. You can change the factoring at one time. You can change the taxes, O&P, and repair all at one time. Tithes, depreciation, notes, labor minimum, activity, all